Hi, this is Tiger Puss, and you're listening to WBGU FM 88.1 and HD1 in Bowling Green,
Programming
Ohio.
for WBGU is brought to you by Aardvark Screen Printing and Embroidery in downtown Bowling Green, providing custom apparel like bar crawl t-shirts and long sleeve tees, plus novelty items like koozies, stickers, wristbands, and party favors for student orgs, businesses, and families. Always open at aardvarkspe.com. Alrighty, and hello, there I am. You're tuned into WBGU FM indeed, and you're now listening to Mix, and I'm your host, DJ Mick. And for tonight's episode of Mix, we're going to be listening to another episode of Joe's Blue Plate Special. And if you've listened to my show the past, couple weeks or month or something like that, I've played the first two from the collection that I have, or that was sent to WBGU 18 years ago. We have volumes 20, I think it's 28, 29, 30, and 31. We've listened to 28 and 29, so tonight, 30 is up on the roster. And, so I'll be doing some of that, and then I think for the rest of the show I'll be interspersing between new indie stuff that was just added to the station this morning, and maybe I'll flip around and get some different genre stuff from our automation system in here. So that's kind of how it's going to roll. This song that you're listening to right now is called One Day by Fox Grin. It's a pretty cool song. I like it, and we've got some good ones coming up for you. So I think, what is it, 8:15? I think I will. I think I'll play some currents, and then go to the 8:30 hour, and then do the weather and events, and then we'll start the Joe's Blue Plate Special. Sound like a plan? Okay, good. So let's listen to some songs, and I'll tell you what they all are at the end.
On Sunday, March 4th, the BGCU baseball team will take on the Campbell University Camels in Bowie's Creek, North Carolina, for the 5th game of their spring trip. Join Noah Yingling for the play-by-play at 2 p.m. on Mixler.com, your flagship home for BGCU baseball.
My name is Tom.
My name is Cindy.
We give to and volunteer with United Way at our community free health clinic.
We know our time and money are going to the right places.
We don't just wear the shirt.
We live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
I shuffle up my tarot cards, and I'm tucking a moonstone into my bra, and all of my mythologies are getting into my car with no change of clothes. Lord only knows. I'm trying it on, and it fits me well. I am becoming something time will fondly tell. 'Cause I am a woman, I am not a mirage. I'm a living, breathing fire, and I'm in your garage. I am leaving now, 'cause I won't wait for long. I won't wait for long. I won't wait for long. I'm trying it on, and it fits me well. I gotta come inside, and time will find a whisper on my heels, a prayer that I can use to cut the rose but keep its head. Whisper on my heels, a prayer that I can use to hit the road with my heart and head.
See, that's another thing. When you talk about a revolution, most people think violence, without realizing that the real content of any kind of revolutionary thrust lies in the principles and the goal that you're striving for, not in the way you reach it.
Yeah, television ain't focusing my precision. My purpose been plain before Stevie had innovations. Innocence is a privilege and not a characteristic of human beings who only begun to start living. I pray you open your eyes, fool. They stay swole from getting hit with that 1-2, sorta like these rhymes do. I'm doing better than better. I do great. I just hate confuse criticism with hate. Now these bars ain't for fun. I'm eating rappers in my sleep and use their bones for toothpicks to get they meat up my teeth. I wrote better 16s at 16 than half of these whack artists could think I ever dreamed. The sharp tongue of a Malcolm when Martin Luther's dream. The White House, the new big house in 2017. Clowns belong in the circus, not in the oval seat. But some of y'all still wearing black paint with rosy cheeks. Yeah, the truth's starting to sting a little. Now you probably hoping that I just sing a little. They asking me TP, just calm it down a little. But you wouldn't ask the riddler why he speaking riddles. Industry full of traps, easier to get ahead of what's in between your legs. Look like a sausage with eggs, but guess I'm too proud to beg. I'm coming through chopping heads, arms, hands, feet, and legs. No, I ain't playing with you. My words coming out sounding like new scripture. Everybody talking head now, but who gon' listen? Or will you wait and just watch on your television? Such a prison.
Perception has the power of camouflage and the proof. The only thing that scares us nowadays is the truth. Sometimes I feel like the only safe place is the booth. But damn it, how many beats gotta die till I get through? Your body can't move unless your mind says so. But a thought is just a thought until the body says go. Everybody picking sides, the entree getting cold. I swear to God, I want it all, but that includes keeping my soul.
No. You can't buy that. On my island. No. Can't hide that. You can't buy that. No. So don't try that. I'm non-violent until somebody hear the siren.
For you and yours, this is Common Sense representing with WBGU 88.1 FM, where beats go underground with the rawness. Peace,
Community
y'all.
sponsorship for WBGU programming is brought to you by Grounds for Thought, a local coffee shop offering vintage books, vinyl, comics, and a selection of home-baked goods. Grounds for Thought, located at 174 South Main Street, Bowling Green, Ohio.
All right, it's 8:30 on the dot here on this Thursday evening, March 1st. It's the first day of March of 2018. And yesterday it was, boy, we're getting to the weather here. And yesterday it was like 60, reaching 60. And today it was hailing, sleeting. Now it's snowing. And it's there's going to be a low of 28 tonight. Not fun, not fun. Then tomorrow, which is Friday the 2nd, partly cloudy, high of 39, low of 22. Okay. And then Saturday the 3rd, looks like it's going to be sunny, high of 38, low of 21, so similar to Friday. So that's what your weather is looking like. And then as for events that are going on in the area, hold on. Okay. Well, if you're listening to my show in the car and you're in BG or around BG, head right on over to the Stones Throw because Zach Sands, a local artist, is playing there tonight. I don't know exactly like what time, but I'm assuming it's like in the evening. It's only 8:30. That's still pretty early. And usually the shows or, open mics or whatever, the Stones Throw, they go pretty late. So if you want to listen to a really cool local artist who's in our local CD box and in our local folder in the system, then head on over to the Stones Throw. And then looking ahead a little bit, tomorrow, which is the 2nd, there are the bands Freight Street, The Changing Elements, The Essentials, and Modern Hollows at Howard's Club H. And just to say, the modern, it'll be like parts of Modern Hollows. Like, I'm not going, but like 3 or 4 of the members are. So it's not the complete set, but we'll still be there. And the music starts at 8. And those are just like, local bands, very cool. So there's that at Howard's. And then something I'm going to that is during spring break. So this is Tuesday, March 6th, and it's in Lakewood, Ohio, which I discovered during fall break because I went over there with my boyfriend and we went to Cleveland for a day, and we're going to do that again for spring break because I really want to see the show, and it's just so close to Cleveland. Why would we not, stay the night in an Airbnb and go visit more of Cleveland? So the bands are Friendship, who I am going to see, Black Tiger and Sweet Oil, and Hands of the Healer. So they're all going to go $5 in advance, $7 at the door. That's pretty dang cheap. And the music starts at 8 p.m. So there you go. And it's at Mahal's. Oh, yeah. Okay. And so I was thinking about this a lot this morning. It's spelled, okay, so the place of the music venue, or actually I think it's like a bowling alley. Anyway, it's spelled Mahall''S. So I thought Mahal's, because that's how it looks. But then I was like, you know what? That's what I thought about Mahopac too, but the town name in New York. But people say Mayapac, so maybe I should call this Males or something like that. And it's the same way with Neil, that name, Niall, like the One Direction guy, but it's Niall, isn't it? But I want to say Neil. I don't know. I guess I'll say Mahal's. Sounds awkward. I think males. I think that sounds better. But it kind of sounds like I'm a Southerner saying the word males, like M-A-L-E-S. I don't know. All right, and then the next day, March 7th, which is Wednesday, at Mommy Bay State Park Lodge, there is the 2018 Toledo Area Veg Bash, a one-evening celebration of vegetarian and vegan cuisine. And it starts at 6, it goes till 9:30, and it's at Mommy Bay. So there's going to be, let's see, live music entertainment, food concessions, a cash bar, a cruelty-free product and service showcase, and more. Very cool. I bought my ticket. I'm going. I'll see you there. All right. So we are going to start the Joe's Blue Plate special episode, I think, and it's going to be like the other ones. I think it's about an hour long, and, you know, I'll stop for breaks in between sometimes, maybe. But I want to kind of, you know, I want it to speak for itself, kind of, you know what I mean? So anyway, and if this is your first time listening or your first time hearing an episode where I play one of these, I'll tell you a bit about it. I'll read the back. Joe's Blue Plate Special is a weekly, independently produced 1-hour radio program highlighting the best unsigned and independent artists and featuring revealing interviews and exclusive music from bigger independent artists. Past interviews include Moby, Pavement, Guided by Voices, and Rancid. The show is distributed to over 800 college and public radio stations, and we'd always like to send it to anyone else who might play it. So that's their whole thing. I'll read some more on the inside because I didn't do that last time. Joe's Blue Plate Special is dedicated to creating a national network of airplay for unsigned musicians. Because it is nearly impossible for independent bands to get their music out on a national level without a large label behind them, we created Joe's Blue Plate Special, also because we want to sell their records. Bands do not pay to be on this show. All the artists are selected as the best of today's underground talent. All the artists are, I just read that. This is part of a grassroots effort to draw attention to a fresh crop of indie artists. So there you go. That's just college radio in a nutshell. That's just like perfect. It's so perfect. And this was submitted to us. This is from 2000. These volumes or episodes of it, whatever. And so 18 years ago, this is what a syndicated like radio show sounded like. So without further ado, let's jump into it. This comes, and I'll describe this later because it's too much to go into now. This comes from the meat section of the CD.
Hi there, honey. May I take your order?
Yeah, I'll have the chocolate malt and the Blue Plate Special.
Would you like fries with that?
Oh, yeah!
Joe's Blue Plate Special.
Hi, this is Dave Corey, and you're listening to Joe's Blue Plate Special. Today I've got an interview with former 3 Mile Pilot member and current Blackheart Procession singer, guitarist, saw player Paul Jenkins. And as always, I'll be bringing you loads of music from great unsigned and independent bands. Samsung's Yep digital audio player is proud to be a sponsor of Joe's Blue Plate Special. Digital downloads of every kind of music are available at SamsungYep.com. That's Samsung, Yep, YEPP.com. Joe's Blue Plate Special is giving stuff away. One lucky winner each month has a chance to win a Samsung Yep digital audio player. Your favorite independent music can be copied from joesgrill.com, and you can take it with you wherever you go. Entries can be submitted at joesgrill.com, simply by telling us your favorite band from today's show. It will even come loaded with a sampler of Joe's Blue Plate Special shows.
Introducing a whole new world of eating enjoyment.
At first glance, it looks like this band is called Euclid. But then you slowly begin to realize that either they misspelled their own name on the cover of their CD, and on the CD itself, and all over the liner notes, and in their website address, or they're actually called Yulcid. Here's Reaction Impulse Theory. That was AutoCAD with 5on5. Named after some terrific drafting software, AutoCAD create music with the stated purpose to make people appreciate the world around them. Next up is Midwesterner, father, and ex-janitor Kurt Mitchell with New Boots from his Happy Town Survivor album.
Firecrackers, New York dolls, swear to God I've seen it all. And I'm a survivor, step aside, clear the runway. I'm the best from Zero Mile, spike the boots that you got on. And don't die trying, say goodbye, prove that you're alive. I can see Johnny with his new boots on. Thunder never made that sound. And I can almost hear the children singing. I think he's coming back around. Cigarettes and dirty books, and all the pills we never took. I can't deny it, tried to fight the tears inside you. Summer sisters, golden chain, sell yourself on what it means. Find the highway I can't ride, see it someday. Well, I can see Johnny with his new boots on. And thunder never made that sound. I can almost hear the children singing. I think he's coming back around. Are your heroes dying? Aren't you sick of trying? Well, I don't wanna hear a sound. Johnny with his new boots on. Thunder never made that sound. I can almost hear the children singing. I think he's coming back around. Yeah, I can see Johnny with his new boots on. Thunder never made that sound. And I can almost hear the children singing. I think he's coming back around.
Hi, this is Mac DeMarco. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Soon after humans began to walk upright, they invented folk music, and folk music was the only music, and it was good. Then came civilization, and rival musical genres arose. Gregorian chant, classical music, jazz, rock and roll, and there was cacophony, but folk music survived, and when the economy and technology collapse and civilization devolves into barbarism, these upstart genres will fall away and folk music will rise again to its natural dominance. You can prepare yourself now for that inevitable future by tuning in to the Folk Music Show Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. on WBGU 88.1.
The NLS Braille and Talking Book program gives patrons the freedom to read their way.
Everybody can read the way they want to read using this program.
For more information, call 1-888-NLS-READ.
This is Chuck D, Public Enemy #1, and you are tuned in to Radio Joe's Blue Plate Special. All right, check it out.
That was Feldspar with The Ass of Tomorrow. As anyone with any knowledge of geology knows, feldspar is a kind of rock. So it's totally awesome that that rockin' band has that name. By the way, ass in that case is used to describe the offspring of a mule and a horse, in case you thought I was using naughty language. Do you have a urinary tract infection?
So light and creamy, it melts like butter.
Regardless, you could probably use some indie music. Plenty of new indie music is available at joesgrill.com or by dialing 1-888-JOES-GRILL.
Too many papers and tests? Do what I do, put it off. One great way to procrastinate is to listen to music on the internet. But then you have to sit in front of your computer and listen on those crappy plastic 2-inch computer speakers. But with the Samsung Yep digital audio player, you can download your favorite tunes from the internet and take them with you wherever you go. And it's about the size of a deck of cards, so you can take your music anywhere, even into outer space. You can change out the music whenever you want, so it's kind of like having your own personal soundtrack every day of the year. So next time you want to skate, ride your mountain bike, or just hang out and get your fade on, you can bring the music with you with the Samsung Yep digital audio player to make it even better. Available at joesgrill.com or Best Buy stores everywhere.
While not officially broken up, the members of San Diego's 3 Mile Pilot don't pay much attention to their alma mater, what with Pinback and the Blackheart Procession taking up most of their time. The Blackheart Procession specializes in a bleak and barren style of indie rock that is pretty well summed up in their name. I spoke with Paul Jenkins of Blackheart in their tour van. That's why you hear all those cars driving by.
First of all, you took off from 3 Mile Pilot, as did Armistead from first project with Pinback, and I was wondering, do you guys actually play at all with 3 Mile Pilot anymore?
Yes. Yeah, we do. We're just doing different things because 3 Mile Pilot has been together for like 10 years. So we just took a break for a while. In the meantime, we started a couple other bands. They started Pinback. We started the Blackheart Procession, and then we've just been touring. So when we're in town at the same time, we get together and work on music. 3 Mile Pilot's the type of band that takes a little longer to write songs and organize everything. So we just tend to take our time, and hopefully something will come together and we'll have a record out in a year or so.
Who are some of your influences?
These are some things just off the top of my head. Blonde Redhead, Johnny Cash, Tammy Wynette, Portishead is really good. God, all sorts. I like all kinds of music, so to narrow it down to just a few is really difficult. Rudimentary Peni, The Proletariat, all kinds of bands. All types of music, all kinds of things. It just has to be good and heartfelt.
Is there a specific song that really helped get you into music or anything like that?
Well, when I was young, I wanted to be either one of two things, which was the Ice Cream Man or Barry Manilow. And it's really crazy. The Copacabana, when I was a kid, really moved me.
We'll hear more of Joe's exclusive interview with Paul Jenkins of Blackheart Procession in just a bit. But for right now, here's I Guess I'll Forget You from their third album, 3.
You're listening to WBGU FM 88.1 and HD1, Bowling Green, Ohio.
Community sponsorship for WBGU programming is brought to you by Grounds for Thought, a local coffee shop offering vintage books, vinyl, comics, and a selection of home-baked goods. Grounds for Thought, located at 174 South Main Street, Bowling Green, Ohio.
That was the Killingtons with Magnum off their self-titled debut LP. They've got one of the neatest album covers I've ever seen. I'd show it to you, but you're not here in the studio with me. But you can call me and I'll send you a photocopy if you want.
Made with fine cheese and a lot of pride.
In the meantime, let's get back with Paul Jenkins of Blackheart Procession.
Do you guys think that you're at all unhappy people, or is it more just that you're expressing this side of you in this music?
We're pretty normal. I think we're like anyone, where there's times when we're depressed and sad or whatever, and then there's times that we're not. I think more than anything we try and be happy as we can, you know, and we express this side of us. And for me, writing music, that's how I feel best expressing myself, is those kind of songs. And I have a hard time writing happy music, so that's just what comes out. I try not to argue with it and just do it.
Mm-hmm. So. You guys also have a lot of interesting instruments going on. I understand you have the saw, and you have all kinds of things that come in outside of the core group of musical instruments. How do you try to incorporate that? I mean, is that something that you see in a song immediately, or is that something that you bring in afterwards? How does that work?
Usually for music, I've always enjoyed music that kind of paints a picture, or how it makes you, if you close your eyes, you kind of can see this whole other land or this whole other scene going on. And I've always appreciated music like that. I like all kinds of music, but drawing and painting and music that's similar in that sense, you know, things that create imagery. So usually with things I try and find instruments that kind of have that ability, which is to create a mood or create things that do that.
Have you ever read a band's bio? Let me save you the trouble. They all either have a complete rundown of every group the band has ever opened for, or they say, this band met when these people wanted to play some music, and the rest is musical history. That's the case for our next band, File Underwater. Here's Silent.
closing in on the fell hot villain, womanizing, analyzing. I lost my head, I'm fantasizing, and I hold you to stay and wasting away. Nobody told you were down, stuck in a maze. There is a place nobody knows you well. If you think you're going bad, all the voices, what was said, tie down among the tracks. If you want to let me know, underneath your skin may grow. Silent shows more than you know.
This is Mac DeMarco. This next song is going out to all you frat boys out there.
Welcome to The Left of the Dial, where you can find WBGU FM and tear down the walls with me, Drew. Every week, I'll feature music from new and up-and-coming artists, tunes from yesteryear, jams from local bands, and even a poem or two. Plus, I'll keep you up to date on album releases, tour dates, local shows, some sports, and whatever else may tickle my fancy. So stay up late, howl at the moon, and tune in for Tear Down the Walls, Thursdays, 10 to midnight, only on WBGU FM.
I really didn't feel safe anymore at home.
Every year, tens of thousands of youth experience homelessness.
The possibility of sleeping out on a park bench, it's not something that a 15-year-old should have to think about.
1-800-RUNAWAY provides 24-hour access to a nationwide network of housing and support services.
I felt such warmth, I felt comfort, I felt safe.
Call 1-800-RUNAWAY. Go to 1-800-RUNAWAY.org or text 66008. We can end youth homelessness.
Joe's Blue Plate Special.
You're tuned in to Joe's Blue Plate Special, the best of unsigned and independent music, right here on your region's best radio station.
Cup of coffee. You bet. How about a hamburger? No, thanks. I'm not hungry. If you're broke, it's on the house.
Next up is Jeremy Gloff. In addition to his career in music, Jeremy is also a championship marble player and has to balance his two careers. This is Breaking Breaking.
Disneya has seen good and she has seen bad. It scrapes her insides where she's hiding. She said she is breaking, breaking. She is out of our reach and that is her defense. Trapped crying and in her life her past tense. She is breaking, breaking. People are flat and indifferent as she kicks through this life. And the candies that she uses to survive taste so lonely. And then she was gone. She will never complain about the red tears. She's frosted icing over the bad news. She is breaking, breaking. Challenges piled till all that remains. A body that's charged up with junk in its veins. She is breaking, breaking.
From the prolific indie town of Kent, Ohio, that was Party of Helicopters, the only show in town that draws both the indie kids and the long hairs. Something for everyone. They just played A New Kind of Power.
Too many papers and tests? Do what I do, put it off. One great way to procrastinate is to listen to music on the internet, but then you have to sit in front of your computer and listen on those crappy plastic 2-inch computer speakers. But with the Samsung Yep digital audio player, you can download your favorite tunes from the internet and take them with you wherever you go. And it's about the size of a deck of cards, so you can take your music anywhere, even into outer space. You can change out the music whenever you want, so it's kind of like having your own personal soundtrack every day of the year. So next time you want to skate, ride your mountain bike, or just hang out and get your fade on, you can bring the music with you with the Samsung Yep digital audio player to make it even better. Available at joesgrill.com or Best Buy stores everywhere.
Please leave message after tone. Can blame it on the things that you said. If you need a reason why your world is dead, I can see you in 10 years. All that you lived up to is my fears.
I'm sorry, I've got to go. I thought I should just let you know. And someday you'll learn to grow. It's obvious. Let's end this. Maybe it's the way you look at me. I'm searching for a life of quality. If you need some kind of hope, maybe you should learn to try and cope. I'm sorry, I've got to go. I thought I should just let you know. And someday you'll learn to grow. It's obvious. Let's end this show. I'm really sick of how you cut me down. When you look away, I won't be around. If you think this is a joke, remember these words that I have spoken. I'm sorry, I've got to go. I thought I should just let you know. And someday you'll learn to grow. It's obvious. Let's end this. Some things are meant to last. Others all just come to pass. Some things are meant to last. Others all just come to pass. I'm sorry, I've got to go. I thought I should just let you know. And someday you'll learn to grow. It's obvious. Let's end this show. I'm sorry, I've got to go. I thought I should just let you know. Someday you'll learn to grow. It's obvious.
Iridescents are a band who play music. That was some of their music. It was a song called Obvious.
Done with your coffee?
No. And don't rush me, will you?
Do you want some more CDs? Indie music of all varieties can be found at joesgrill.com or by calling 1-888-JOES-GRILL. Let's check in with Paul Jenkins of Blackheart Procession.
Let's see, I'm going to get into some music politics now. What do you think about the MP3 and Napster thing, and how does that affected you guys, if at all?
I used to make compilation tapes and everything like that when I was a kid, but it was a different time, and I think nowadays it's really hard for a band like us that doesn't sell a whole bunch, like a Mariah Carey or somebody like that, to make a living. We have to work really hard to make a living, and I think every time somebody burns a CD, and we go to play shows at a college campus and we look at somebody's record collection, they're all burnt CDs, and realizing, you know, like, none of the bands are getting money for this, and I kind of have a problem with it because on a smaller level, you know, Napster's always talking about how for big bands, you know, they're making enough money as it is, you know, as one of his quotes. You know, the musicians are making enough money as it is, they can go play shows. Well, that's correct for MTV bands, but bands that really aren't on MTV and don't have that kind of exposure, and most likely never will, you know, we have to go out and work and, you know, work really hard. And so every CD sale, you know, $3 of what I get out of a CD, if 1,000 people burn our CD, that's $3,000 that people are stealing out of my pocket, and that's the way I look at it. And I just have a problem with it in that sense, you know. I think for smaller bands, it can affect them. So I don't really like it. on our new CDs inside, underneath the CD, I don't know if you've gotten our new CD yet, but underneath, if you pull the CD off on the tray card, it says, buy CDs, don't burn them.
Yeah, how much money do you guys make? Do you do all right at playing the musician game?
We do okay. We're just at a point to where if we work and we tour hard, we can pay our rent. But we have to really tour a lot. For 10 years with 3 Mile Pilot, we hardly made any money, except for every once in a while. We keep doing it with Blackheart and both bands, and hopefully after a while, things pick up. But Blackheart's been doing pretty good. We're selling more records and able to play bigger shows, and bands want us to go on tour with them. And if we do a headlining tour, we make better money, and things like that. So it's picking up. We just got to work hard. If we sit at home and just count on our record sales, we'll have to have jobs.
Yeah.
So we just look at touring as having a job that we like.
More to come with Blackheart Procession in just a bit. Right now, let's hear from Blackheart with My Heart is Bleeding Raindrops.
You're listening to WBGU FM on 88.1 and HD1, Bowling Green, Ohio.
Community sponsorship for WBGU programming is brought to you by Grounds for Thought, a local coffee shop offering vintage books, vinyl, comics, and a selection of home-baked goods. Grounds for Thought, located at 174 South Main Street, Bowling Green, Ohio.
Hi. Okay, so it's it's 9:29 on the studio clock on this Thursday evening of March 1st, the 1st of March, 2018. The Ides of March are the 15th. So, I think. So, the weather is looking bad. There's a low of 28 tonight. It's still snowing. Yep. Big old flakes. Giant flakes. And then tomorrow, which is the 2nd, is supposed to be mostly sunny. Interesting. Last hour it was supposed to be partly cloudy. Which is it? Weather.com. And the high of 39, low of 22 degrees. And then Saturday it looks sunny. High of 39, low of 21. So pretty similar Friday and Saturday. As for events... So Zach Sands, a local artist, is going to be playing at the Stones Throw. He's actually playing there tonight, probably right now. So if you're in your car listening to WBGU, you could probably just swing by and catch him. I don't know. There's no time on here that I can see, but I'm assuming that he's probably playing like right now. So if you wanted to go do that, there you go. If you're looking a little farther ahead in the future, say tomorrow, there's a show that involves the local bands Freight Street, The Changing Elements, The Essentials, and Modern Hollows. And this is happening at Howard's. Music starts at 9 probably, I'm assuming. And Modern Hollows is the band that I'm in. I will not be present at this show. I think it's only going to be 3 or 4 of our members out of the total 6. But still go. And then something that I'm going to be going to that you may want to go to. It's 2 hours away in Lakewood, but it's during spring break, March 6th, Tuesday. The bands Friendship, Black Tiger and Sweet Oil, and Hands of the Healer are going to be playing at Mahal's, and that is a bowling alley, which I think is just so interesting. And tickets are $5 in advance and $7 at the door. I actually covered a song by the band Friendship on my most recent little mini album, and I'm going to do a little interview with them. I'm just like an iPhone recording video, or an interview, not a video, an interview. So anyway, that'll be fun. And then the next day I'm going to go to the Spring 2018 Toledo Area Veg Bash, a one-evening celebration of vegetarian and vegan cuisine, and it's happening at Maumee Bay State Park. Tickets are $15 in advance and $17 at the door. There's going to be feature food concessions from some of the area's best vegetarian and vegan hotspots, live musical entertainment, a cash bar, a cruelty-free product and service showcase, and more. So there you go, from 6 to 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday, March 7th at Maumee Bay Lodge. All right, so we're going to continue and finish up the Joe's Blue Plate special episode. And then I just found a couple little interesting articles in some old BG newspapers from this date back in 19 whatever. So let's finish up that Joe's Blue Plate special first, and then we'll get to that. Enjoy.
Joe's Blue Plate Special.
What else can be done when it's all been done before? Well, I ain't gonna rhyme a new word, and I ain't about to play a new chord. But still, you wait with bated breath and pray just a little bit better than this, this. What else could be done when it's all been done before? So drop your shoulder bag, pull up a seat, and let your eyes leave the door. 'Cause it's a been there, heard that evening ahead. For the men, songs about women, and for the women, songs about love and death. 'Cause she's my four-wheel off-road automobile. She's got big tires that rip up the bed, and the headlights are magnificent. But lately I'm not crazy with how she's been running. Sad to say, but I may have to trade her in. I'm gonna trade her in. What else could be done? You know it all been done before. And the maintenance alone was just more than I could afford. Still, I'll miss her old familiar ride, and it's tough to think of another throwing her into overdrive. 'Cause she's my four-wheel off-road automobile. She's got big tires that rip up the bed, and the headlights are magnificent. But lately I'm not crazy with how she's been running. Sad to say, but I may have to trade her in. I'm gonna trade her in. I'm gonna trade. So I went down to the new dealer's lot to check out what he had got. He had those new models, they were sleek and clean with fresh rug and smooth upholstery. But then it hit me like a deja vu, and I remembered when my old truck was once new. And pretty soon these ones would look like hell too. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Do-do-do-do-do. Whoa. She's my four-wheel off-road automobile. She's got those big tires that rip up my bed, and the headlights are magnificent. But lately I'm not crazy with how she's been running. Sad to say, but I may never trade her in. I'll never trade her in. I'll never trade.
Starting out as one of those guys you see on the street and give some money to because you accidentally make eye contact, Teddy Goldstein has begun to make a serious career out of his music, headlining at clubs along the East Coast where people pay to see him not out of guilt, but out of actual appreciation for his music. We just heard Off-Road Automobile. Now let's get back for a bit more with Paul Jenkins of Blackheart Procession.
So my question is, how do you feel about independent labels versus major labels? And I know that 3 Mile Pilot was on Geffen for a little while, so.
I had a really hard time dealing with the major label when 3 Mile Pilot was on one. It was just this whole other world that I couldn't relate to, and the way that they did their business, of where it was more about money and all these other things, just really wasn't about what I wanted to do and was not at all the reasons why I was doing things.
Why'd you guys decide to go on there?
Well, just to try it. We're young, and we obviously want to play for people and make music and sell some records, but you have to try those things to know. So it was a good learning experience. But Touch and Go is a great label, and it's a label I've always bought records from, and I feel really fortunate to be dealing with them, and they're really easy to deal with. They're really fair. There's no contracts and things like that. There's really nice people. There's a ton of great bands that are on major labels, so I don't look at it as like indie versus major. If a band's good to me. And if they're bad, they're bad. Either I like them or I don't. It doesn't really matter what label they're on, if they're on Touch and Go or, Island Records. I don't care as long as the music's good. I think people are people. I think most musicians just want to put out music. You just have to figure out a way that works for you.
Thank you to Paul Jenkins of Blackheart Procession for coming on the show. Did you know that cows have 4 stomachs? Also, did you know that indie music of all kinds can be found at joesgrill.com or by calling 1-888-JOES-GRILL? The Bison Burns have a style of playing music not unlike many bands. They strum their guitars with small pieces of plastic called picks, and their drummer hits his drums with drumsticks. Here's the Bison Burns with Buck-Toothed Falcon.
They'll look at your creation and they say you know it very well. That bully in your backyard can't tell you what to do. Yeah, yeah. Let loose the fire rocket, takes its place with the others on your house. The prison is next door. She says she's gonna run and tell her mom. Not that it matters to you. Not that it matters to you. If that matters to you. Not that it matters to you. Backseat of the school bus, and you know it starts bleeding from the wind. Buck-toothed like a falcon, you know you can't afford the shape you're in. Yeah, yeah. It's your style. Run like hell. Black eye, torn shirt, dirty shoes. Watch out, your sister, she'll get you, she'll get you. Run home and slam your door shut, 'cause your parents, they just don't understand. That bully in your backyard, he can't tell you what to do. Not that it matters to you. Not that it matters to you. If that matters to you. Not that it matters to you. Yeah, if that matters to you. Not that it matters to you. If that matters to you. Not that it matters to you.
Hey bands, if you'd like to be on our show, you can send us CD and bio to Joe's Blue Plate Special, 4919 North Broadway, Suite 22, Boulder, Colorado 80304.
Joe's Blue Plate Special is giving away a Samsung Yep digital audio player every month. One lucky winner gets a Samsung Yup player to download your favorite independent music from joesgrill.com so you can take it with you wherever you go. Entries can be submitted at joesgrill.com or by sending a postcard to Samsung Digital Impressions, P.O. Box 774, Longmont, Colorado 80501. Okay, you probably weren't expecting that, so here it is again. That address is Samsung Digital Impressions, P.O. Box 774, Longmont, Colorado 80501. The Yup player will even come loaded with a sampler of Joe's Blue Plate special shows.
Thanks to your local radio station for playing our little show, and keep listening to this station for the best radio programming in the country. Thanks to our engineer Zimmerman for all his hard work putting this show together. Coming up on Joe's Blue Plate Special, exclusive interviews and music from Ozo Motley, Sunny Day Real Estate, and Jets to Brazil. Until then, try to control your nasal drippage, and remember, let's all be independent together.
Check, please! Hey, this is Cal Penn, and you're listening to WBGU.
There are all kinds of songs that suggest Mondays suck, but things are turning around. Odds and Ends with DJ K2 every Monday from 6 to 8 p.m. has a suggestive theme that will lift your spirit and offer a clever surprise. Tunes from any era may apply, as long as they fit the theme of the week. Keep Monday on a high note with DJ K2, Odds and Ends on 88.1 FM, WBGU.
My name is Dale Pazinski. I volunteer with United Way to help the homeless in my community learn computer skills and build a basic resume. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
All right, it's 9:45 p.m. on this Thursday evening. You just finished up Joe's Blue Plate Special, Volume 30. And I told you that it came from the meat section of the CD, and I'll explain what that means. So this is a 4-disc CD, like, case thing, and so when you open it up, all 4 flaps out. We have breads and cereals, dairy, meat, and fruits and vegetables. And that's what's on the flap, and then you open the flap, and there's the CD. And then you take the CD out, and there's a little quote, something or other on the back. So this one is meat. So it says, meats are important for protein. Your body needs protein to build and maintain muscle mass. Interesting. I really, really liked the song by AutoCAD, 5 on 5. Which I totally, like, I wrote that song down based on what he said, what I heard him say, and I wrote AutoCAD 5 on 5. So I'm glad I looked at the CD and saw the actual title, because I would have just been looking for a song that does not exist. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that Joe's Blue Plate Special episode. There's one more that I have in this 4-volume thing. And so I'll be playing that sometime in the future. I will say I might not make it to my show next Thursday, which is during spring break, because I'm actually playing a harp gig at a local church here for like a Lenten service, and it starts at 7. I have to be there 6:30, and it'll probably, I probably won't make it. But if I feel like coming in for like a half hour or maybe an hour, depending. Because, I mean, a harp that's a big instrument. I have to wrap it all up, and then I have to bring it down the elevator, wheel it to my car, load it in the car, and then I have to do the whole thing again when I'm done. And it takes a while. I can't just, pick up my flute in a little case and then just carry it anywhere. So anyway, I may or may not be here next Thursday. So I did want to get to those BG News articles that I had found. So the first one I had found from 1979, March 1st, and it's it was syndicated from the Los Angeles Times, and it says blizzards bring out the best in people. And I just wanted to read it just because I thought it was kind of fun. Washington. I'd like to write one more snow piece. It's not really about snow, but about people. We had a major snowstorm in Washington, and while it was big news in this part of the world, it didn't mean much to the rest of the United States. The thing that struck me is that I've been living in this particular neighborhood in Washington for 14 years, and I've never seen my neighbors. I mean, really seen them and talked to them, other than say a perfunctory good morning if they happen to be out cutting the lawn or raking leaves. Washington really does live behind closed doors. All around us are human beings, but except for the ones next door, you wouldn't know it. The people inside the houses might look out when you walk by, but it's bad form to look in. There are cars parked in front of the homes, and once in a while you might see a bicycle or a skateboard, which is further proof that someone lives in those inflation-infested homes. Ugh. But the streets are quiet, and everyone stays pretty much to himself or herself. When you have a nice house, one of those things you are paying for is privacy. Then the snowstorm came and went, and everyone's car was buried, and the streets were almost impassable except for one or two paths. The roofs were loaded with the white stuff, and the sun came out, and suddenly, people came out of their houses and started talking to each other. Complete strangers began conversations for the first time, and for the first time, the inhabitants everyone had assumed were ghosts turned out to be just like us, with children and dogs and cats and leaking roofs. I didn't know we had so many good-looking women in our neighborhood, I said to my wife as we trudged through the streets. Yes, she observed, and they seem to be shoveling all the snow. Maybe that's what they owe their lovely complexions to. The reason they're shoveling the snow is that all the radio and television announcers have warned men not to shovel snow as they could get heart attacks, but they never said anything about the women. A couple of them we didn't know had set up bottles of red wine and cheese on the hoods of their cars and offered each of us a glass. We toasted to the blizzard of '79. That was nice, I said. Right neighborly. I wonder if I should send them a thank you note, my wife said. You don't have to send thank you notes during blizzards. Besides, we don't even know their names. It's peculiar, she said. We hardly know anybody's name in this neighborhood, and yet today it doesn't seem to matter. We helped one man push his car 5 feet so he could clear space for a neighbor's car. Then we stopped by and took a photograph of a snowman with the entire family and promised to drop off a copy. They in turn brought out a jug of hot coffee. And so it went, up and down the streets. Everyone smiling, women shoveling, strangers throwing snowballs at each other, and grown people just falling down in the drifts and laughing and making total fools of themselves. I guess you'd call it our neighbor's Camelot. The snow is almost gone now, except for a few dirty patches. The doors to all the houses are closed tight, probably locked. Once in a while, a shadow walks by a window. It could have been someone who helped shovel our car out last week. But then again, it might have been the person who gave us a lift or a glass of Irish coffee. In any case, we've all gone back inside, and chances are we may never see each other again or say anything besides good morning until the next blizzard. I hope people don't think I'm making trouble, but I wish it would come soon. You can't imagine how lonely it is around here. That was written by Art Buchwald. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of nice. Speaking of blizzards, I mean, we're not in a blizzard, but oh, yep, it's still snowing. It's snowing a lot. All right, so then in this, I looked up a 1991 edition of the BG News, again from March 1st today, back in, oh boy, what would that be? 27 years ago? No, I'm 22 and I was born in 96, so 95. Yep, 27. Oh, yeah, 27. Yes, 27. Okay. So there was a lot of stuff about there are things, immorality and sexual preference are questioned. Discrimination still shows up on campus. So I'll just read like a little part of this. Because this is how it was back in 91. It's before my time, but all right. So I'll just read parts of this. This is from the Discrimination Still Shows Up on Campus. The recent flurry of letters to the editor printed in the news pertaining to homosexuality are mistimed and misdirected. The battleground should have been last semester when my high school classmate John Snyder was prohibited to work for Army intelligence by the Department of Defense and the Reserve Officers Training Corps. John's story seems unreal upon examination. While gutless and traitorous reserves deserted the U.S. Army when called up for duty last December, John was an individual who desired to serve his country to the extent of dying for it in the Persian Gulf. The Army said no. Why? Ask a cadet in Bowling Green ROTC and you will receive no less than 20 reasons, off the record that is. Pentagon policy states no official is allowed to defend the gay and lesbian rule on record. The essence of the rule states homosexuality is incompatible with military service. Meanwhile, John's dream of working in military intelligence is put off indefinitely as his pleas for acceptance in the land of opportunity are ignored. What a shame. In high school, John was a student leader participating in athletics, concert band, choir, student council, and National Honor Society. He has the sharp mind that would be an asset to the intelligence sector of the Army. The real tragedy is that he could have picked any profession and been an immediate success after college, but he made the mistake of choosing the archaic U.S. Army. ROTC has many virtues and has been unfairly criticized by crazed anti-establishment liberals, but even smash-mouth conservatives can see that this discrimination crap has got to stop. We are talking about 10% of our population. It is time for student leaders to start putting pressure on ROTC to change their policies. Although ROTC has no power to change Pentagon policy, the only forum in which improvements will be initiated are at the institutions of higher learning. Nationally, University ROTC provides more than 70% of new officers to the armed services. Quite simply, university leaders need to set a deadline for ROTC to change policy to include homosexuals. If ROTC fails to comply, the leaders should then prohibit ROTC from using university facilities on the Bowling Green campus. First, a campus should exist in its simplest terms to provide a platform for the free exchange of ideas. ROTC does not perpetuate this forum. There are many thoughtful and intelligent ROTC cadets who are gagged by the Department of Defense on important social issues such as homophobia. Their beliefs must coincide with the Defense Department beliefs or promotion is inhibited. Second, discrimination should not be tolerated in any form at a university. Isn't homophobia the moral equivalent of racism? And yet, if ROTC discriminated against blacks, they wouldn't last 2 minutes on this campus. This is a distinct double standard working here. Remember, discrimination against homosexuals is not the same as a personal distaste for homosexuality. There is no way to explain away the prejudice in this country against gays. People like John lose jobs, promotions, homes, and friends because of it. Answers to the cure of homophobia is to not expend our energy on lost causes such as Chris Dare, but to start working for worthy causes such as John Snyder. Chris Dare was one that mentioned he had some quotes at the beginning of the article that I skipped. But I just thought that was very interesting. It's also interesting to see how the language has changed. We don't really use the term homosexuals very often. We just say, gay people. And he did at the very end of the little article. This was written by Scott Geringer. I just thought that was interesting. Because now there was like the don't ask, don't tell thing, and then it got repealed, or it was just like made away, and now there's a thing with like letting trans people serve in the Army and stuff like that. I just kind of hear bits and pieces. I'm a bad news reader. I don't really keep up with it officially on on a regular basis, but I know some things at least. So I just thought that was a little interesting little clip. That was from 1991, ran in the BG News on page 3. All right, so I think it's about that time for me to get on out of here. So I may or may not do a show during spring break next week. But if I don't, then I'll see you all next Thursday, which would be the 15th. And I hope you enjoyed this show of one of the Joe's Blue Plate specials. And we've just been playing indie currents, but they're kind of in the background. So, but this next one, the one I'm going to leave you with as the next DJ comes in and sets up, is Better by Phil Good. Here you go. Good night.
I got these morning monsters in my head. They tell me I should never leave my bed. Not yet. So I stay and try to think some happy thoughts. I tell these buyers my brain can't be bought. I'm not a liar, I'm just feeling lost. So lost. Someone's gonna tell me what to do and help me crawl my way out of this blues. Is it you? I can't fake it. It's just another day of feet. So I just take it. I lay here and I tell myself I'm gonna be better. Another day gone, but tomorrow I know I'm gonna be better, better. I'm gonna be better. Another day gone, but tomorrow I know I'm gonna be better, better. I can't escape it, but maybe I could hide out. I can't erase it, but I could use some white out. I'll stay